Viper, and I want to highlight Jaw on the Gecko. He's so good at using his util perfectly, and then once that's gone, he's fighting into backside. He's going so far forward and fully disrupting the opponent's retake. That's something they have to be ready for if Sen want to bounce back.
Yeah.
Yo guys, welcome back to another stream of mine. नहीं आओ पुटे लोग अपने भाई का अलग न्यू स्ट्रीम है, मज़ा आएगा। अच्छे ने एक मैच हो गया, दूसरे मैच का वॉच पार्टी करेंगे। ऐसे भी जीतेंगे भाई, नींद में सोट के आम है शन के लिए, इजी जीते। रुको, इजी विन।
Poor Goose, man. Poor kid.
ऐड 35 सेकेंड्स। क्या बोलते तुम लोग, प्रेडिक्ट क्या कर रहे हैं? एक मैच तो हो गया है, फिर भी मेरे को लगता है सेकेंड मैच जीतेगी सर। इजी है रे, MIBR आ गए। देखो उधर साइड वाली टीम जीतेगी आज दोनों। G2 for a win. आज कर दो दीजिए।
Welcome back to VCT America.
Thank
we
you.
are ready for map 2 here in our second series of the
Let's
day.
go.
G2, we heard the desk. It kind of looked like a cakewalk here because Sentinels have to come out swinging.
And I'm scared now because they're going into
Why are you
Icebox.
scared, Uncle?
Sentinels last time they played it, they only played it once so far. They played against Crew. Crew came out with this double controller setup with the Harbor and the Viper, something that Sentinels had a hard time dealing with. But now we're going to this game. Oh my god, okay, wait, hold on. Sentinels comes in with something new here, and they're almost...
the Gecko now.
No duelist?
They're almost mirror comping G2 if G2 plays the same composition. Which then means here that they're holding up the Gecko, but instead of playing the Harbor, they're going with an Omen. So you want to add a little bit more verticality going to how you want to exit into
No
the
duelist?
site. Because again, you're looking at this, both teams are not playing any duelists. For the side of G2, the way that they're playing it, they're scaling quite well.
Lotus है क्या मैप?
But on the side here of Sentinels, I'm expecting to get
Lotus
a lot of
map
that
है guys?
verticality coming out from Zekin to allow Sentinels to get a
Lotus
little
map
more
में
space,
सकत
a
दुगे
little
हो
bit of
सकता।
crosses to
No
allow to
duelist
open up
क्यों
the
खेले ये
sites.
लोग?
And they have a chance to do that now for Sentinels because they start on the attack.
Remember this
Icebox,
does
अरे
mean
बहुत ही
a
मत
spot
Icebox
in
है।
Toronto here. Sentinels trying to keep this series alive. G2 could
बहुत
lock
दिन
it
बाद
down
Icebox
right
देख रहा हूँ।
here with the 13 rounds in their pocket. I'm sure Sentinels won't make it as easy on this. We're going to get into the map. Icebox, we see teams now bringing out the Geckos. I'm excited. These changes late in the season here.
एयरपोर्ट आ गए। आपका स्वागत है।
Yeah, pistol round's already underway, and Sentinels are kind of running things just like G2. A lot of pressure towards this B side on the pistol, trying to scout out where the defense could be. But it's a full setup for G2. Leaf has set his turret up towards this B site just to try to get early information. The
भरोसा
pressure's
नहीं हो रहा
coming
है
towards Finn, so they can try to go for this pinch in the back.
Already around yellow. Sentinels moving quite quick, but do they know how many will be around?
Yeah.
The flank splits up. Valen with 2 classic. Easy as they just come around the corner all willy-nilly on the side of Sen.
Nice one.
Zalsis is able to push forward. Everybody's getting a little tricky here as they don't know where the full capacity of each team is, but they're still trying to seek each other out. One more trade goes through and very low health here for G2 to get back into the site.
Hilo is too good at the start for G2.
1v2,
Both players are Sentinels are isolated though.
2v3.
Oh.
Ah!
Just gooped on there, and they have to get now to John Cutie. Takes down one, turns, almost gets this 180. But it is just going to be a quick classic. Wingman's already on the defuse. And that's going to be enough. A round win for G2. They secure another pistol.
That was such a solid hold for G2 at the very beginning. You mentioned how many players would be flanking towards that back for the set of G2. It was a split second where the turret was down, but came back up on time for Zelsis to spot that. And that call just activated Sentinel to try to push back towards the back of the B site.
You know,
have a high-low from the top of the bridge and kitchen towards the back of the site. They weren't ready for it for the side of Sentinels, and G2 were just able to play full man advantage throughout the whole pistol. Now building into a very strong second half. An Outlaw already comes out here for the side of 200P, allowing for them to play a little bit more of a 4-1 setup here on this Icebox defense.
It is nice. We don't see Jonah with it, but it is perfect for that B-long position. They have kitchen covered. He's going to be right under the tube. Leaf making the stinger sing, and he does it again. A third one.
Oh,
knows
my.
it's going to be.
Haye, flash कहाँ से
Stealing
आया?
that away.
Shit.
Impossible ace. That's all right though. Bye Power taking a breath.
हो गया भाई.
Too many lately.
शुरू से पहले खत्म हो गया भाई.
That one, and it is going to be 2 here for G2.
Yes, it's 2.
Lemmings going into the kitchen.
Yeah.
So much util to stop towards that back though. The Gecko flash towards that top. Really didn't allow Sentinels to play and trade
Yes,
as a
it's
group.
2.
And speaking of playing as a
Sentinels
team,
का मैच देखने
this
मजा
time
आता है.
you're
इसके
giving
लिए
the
watch party
outlaw on
कर
the side
दूंगा.
of Jogimo. For this buy,
They can
Sentinels
pull
already
out
respects it because of that second round shot.
any
That
comeback.
you have Jonah P already getting that
अभी
first
comeback
pick.
है.
So all
Zekken को
by
सुस्वारे
full
में
shields on the side of Sentinels at the same time
Devious पे
puts
चलता था
a
रे.
dent into their economy. They have to be flawless in this round to try to tie things up. Look at this push from G2.
Was expected on both sides. Bang is so ready in a third one.
Bang भाई हो जाए.
Trent knows there's going to be more of a fight here. He has to get out safe somehow. That swing, Bang finds a third kill, and is going to get a 4th point for the ultimate on this round. Leaf is getting pretty close pretty quick here. Not waiting for the team. He just goes
Stinger लेके
for a
सबके
swing.
सामने से निकले.
That was an abrupt stinger swing for sure. And now we'll just see if they can take down Jog here as he gets the defuse. A nice round for Sentinels.
Yeah, you're trying to do as much damage as possible, pop damage, so that Jogimo can get 1-shots across the board. That would take down actually 3
damage करने को try.
There's that first with a headshot.
John Cutie answers back. It was a heady play.
मेरे को इसमें अच्छा
Trying to
लगता है.
tick off the
Aim
armor
भी
there,
फट
but another one
head लग
goes.
गया. Body
Or
लग
should
गया
say
कहीं
the
भी.
first for this map in Sentinel's favor.
And that was good for Sentinels to stay back towards the spawn for the very beginning. The bonus round, they learned a little bit from Split that G2 likes to play areas where you can close the gap. And when you're playing on a map like Icebox where a drone could be very good against a stealth drone from the tail, where you're trying to close as much as possible, trying to rush into the garage if they actually do hear that drone. But they peek to get punished. And Sentinels, we mentioned they needed a clean round and they got it. Full rifle rounds for both teams though. And you'll see this pressure continue on from both sides. This is something also that Trent has been doing with the Salvos at the very beginning. We'll talk that point in a little bit here because Zekken is looking for control and for some space in front of this A site.
Pushed up so far here, just on the other side of the wall. One smoke pops, doesn't get a headshot off of that wall diagonal. And they just reset, but it's all about Bang right now and how much info he can grab in this position. Inserted so far into kitchen.
So nice.
They're not even thinking about it. Oh, there's the timing. Oh, he turns it just the last moment. You have to be kidding. And now they're forced to push into sight. G2 know they have a lock on where the rest of the members are, basically. And they are going to give them space before the retake. Oh, yep. How many slams? How many shots? This smoke. They try to break the smoke without any utility. And just on the other side, Sentinels waits with open arms. Another one for Zekken. And a second round for Sentinels.
The push and pull was very nice for Sentinels there. And then you also see why Zekken is playing this Omen for the side of Sentinels and instead of playing a Harbor, smoking out the turret, allowing Bang to move up. And even if he dies, it pulled up the rotate from G2 back towards the A main, towards the screens, so that Sentinels could actually start moving into the A site. And not only that, continue to push towards the screen to keep everybody isolated from G2 on the outside of the site. Fighting through the smoke, the second smoke being thrown by Bang. Or by Zekken, sorry. It was perfect.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
And the hype from Zelsis is there.
Let's go!
You can hear it. Sheriff's here for G2 as they go into this round. And I love that point about Sentinels having the Omen. I mean, part of the having Harbor here was to have it with the Sova. Layers. It just seems like having that Omen allows Sen to keep fighting and get the angles they want.
And also, to discuss again this initiator coming out here from Trent and Jogimo and also from Naren Darkuti, why no Sova? The tail salvos are just good enough here to take full control of pipes and in front of orbs so that people can't really run forward. You'll need to find that information first with a recon dart because you can just brute force your way through with the salvos and fight for trades. And now you see an eco coming out for G2. They tried to go for a peek towards middle. Couldn't do any damage there. And Sentinels, they could just min-max the orbs, min-max some kills, and build up their ults here in the next round.
pressure towards A. Does not seem like it'll be used too much since B is taken, but Sentinels are really gaining control of the map here and not giving up that space when they know they have the better weaponry.
Dualistic खेलना है
You
भाई
can't be
को.
shy to G2 at any point in time, or
Smoke
they will
कर,
attack.
फिर
And
घुस.
Sentinels push
Smoke
even
करते
harder
करते घुसना
when
है.
they know they can go for the throat on this round.
लेकिन मैं duelist तो हूँ मैं. चाहे टीम हमारी.
Once again, the value of Zekin on this moment. Trying to create space for the team. You just saw there as he TPs on the top of yellow, it forces the players at G2 to turn around.
उसको बताओ ना
Try to
Zekin
focus
का
on them so
जो
the
गया
rest
है
of
वो
the Sentinels can just scale behind.
Thanking हाँ.
High five, Keeper.
And the Sentinels still wants to keep doing this conditioning. The salvos will continue up here. The wall comes out on the defensive side though, and Balance scales into the nest.
Read करना पड़ता है ना.
A great spot because when this calms down, you'll probably see a couple of players of G2 start falling back, and the responsibility of right now for Leaf is to play soft.
So what's the protocol here for Sentinels, right? They have identified that was a push. Like, we haven't seen this before. What are they going to do? And it's second to teleport across, just like you said, creating that space, helping the team get a forward position, but they have to be wary. They have that wall to go up for Bang just yet. Oh my gosh. Doesn't seem like they have the wall just yet, but they'll Armageddon and they'll put everything else over here towards the site as Leaf gets himself to safety on that.
And he wants to play an aggressive position here on the top of the site. One pick allows for him to get the lockdown, and you can trade out these ults.
Thrash goes through.
कैसे बांग कैसे मार दिया?
Returning the favor. Lockdown almost gets thrown, but it was in such an open position. It's instantly thwarted. And now the 2v3. G2 still have stopped the plant, but now they'll have to look at the defuse as Zelsis throws it down on the site.
And this should guarantee it for Sentinels. Zelsis has his own lockdown, and if it has to come down to that, they push them back, and then you have a pit from Bang. So the last two players of G2 definitely already falling back. But you saw how you were just so tunnel visioned on the side of Leaf. As soon as he gets the pick, he throws out the lockdown and he's trying to plant it. But at the same time,
balls packed,
doesn't really pay attention to his surroundings.
Balls packed, guys. Saving,
So you have a couple of players of Sentinels slipping through the cracks and able to capitalize on that pick. The silver lining is that he still has it going into the next round now for G2.
True, he didn't get the activation, so it just got destroyed. But you're right. It's maybe he was thinking people were snowmen, people were over to the right side, able to see across the map.
Yeah,
in that situation towards B. And that it goes to show how fast Sentinels are also moving to be in that position where we were just praising Leaf for having the 1v1 effect where you can get yourself into a spot that's draining the enemy's utility. This time, he gets taken down before being able to use his. Let's see it all again. As they just fly, through the Thrash. Through the Thrash, that's dirty.
It's almost two with this comp you can play.
Sorry?
You can definitely see here that they have kind of like double drones into these ults when you have the Thrash available for the side of both teams for G2 and Sentinels. But now this timeout comes through, and I think it's important. So far, you've seen Josh RT do a lot of these early timeouts for the team where he already has a good read into the game. He probably already knows the type of protocols that Sentinels are kind of doing right now to execute towards these sites. So do you actually want to start saving your salvos to just land him where Bang could be TPing, or sorry, Zekin could be TPing it across? Or how do you just want to fight back maybe in forward positions here that Sentinels are, they're allowing Sentinels to take, especially on this B side at the very beginning?
It's a nice job. I think usually when we see G2 fall, if you think back to C9 G2 Haven, it was about Nets lurks on that. So the lurks, a lurker being able to get under the skin of G2, able to take out how they're playing and not allow that protocol post-plant retake they're so good at.
And that's a great point, because so far Sentinels hasn't been needed to use that yet.
Right.
If it comes down to those moments where Bang could activate a little bit more, yes, they did it when they did the push and pull towards that too, but so far just the brute forcing from Sentinels has been good enough. And that could also be the next thing of conversation, the next point of conversation that Kaplan could instill here with the Sentinels team.
All right, let's see how G2 comes out of this timeout. What they have on their plate. 3 ultimates ready. Oh no, sorry, 2 ultimates, or 1 ultimate, yeah, 2 ults ready on their side. Thrash, as well as that lockdown we still have from Leaf. And they're gonna actually be pressured again towards that B site. See if they get the lockdown earlier than later on this. With a push here from the right side too, Jogamo should be able to tell G2 this is a B hit.
Yeah. They've already went for the drone in the very beginning, so again, the 2 players on the B side have to play a little bit more soft. You see here that you're playing very passively for Leaf, trying to activate here with the lockdown. If you're going to use that and push it back towards Jogimo, although Bang is already watching that flank. Sentinels are kind of pinned towards the spawn though, and they might have to commit towards this B site, but thankfully, as you've mentioned, they have this lockdown to open it up.
They could stall on both sides with this. Does Leaf answer right away? He's actually on the outside, so they're gonna wait, use their lockdown for retake from the side of G2. And we're just gonna get a breathing moment here as the team's set up for sight.
Still not too sure yet with this lockdown that was placed down by Leaf. Because they could just wait this out for Sentinel. The wall could come back up, then they have to pick for the pulse plant.
I thought that was going to be coming in much later. Zelsa's kill comes in now onto Trenko. They're waiting patiently for Zekin and the team to push through. They know Sentinels want to take a bit more space here. It's going to be tough to all hide on that B main, and Valen starts to collect another head on this. Sentinels falling left and right as Leaf finds another, a third, and possibly a fourth, but no, it's Valen. Leaf, it's a full house between those two. With Valen's defuse, they do pick up a round after the timeout.
And that's why I was going to mention the lockdown would have been perfect to counter into the pit. And if you're going to use it early, you're hoping that the rest of G2 could follow behind a Thrash on a retake. And again, it's G2. So they followed behind that towards the end and got the perfect picks coming out from Leaf.
Man, you just see how sorted they had Sentinels. How many members of Sentinels were actually looking at the person killing them? Not many.
To be honest.
So the speed G2 hit back with.
Lockdown round, but definitely on that retake.
Yeah.
One round separates these two teams now, and it seems like Sentinels, after getting snuffed out here on the pulse plant towards the B side, but they don't have too many ults to work with. Now they can leverage verticality with Zekin towards this A site. Already TP on top of pipes,
Ready for the fight. Backs up if this goes away and the wall doesn't give him necessarily the right angle. He says, wait a minute. Pinged me out.
And here are those lurks that we were just mentioning here from Sentinels that they haven't really utilized yet, and they were doubling up in the first place.
Interesting. They're giving over Zelsis for this lurk now, along with Bang to start off.
Zelsis एक बार वो tubes के ऊपर चढ़ के वाला करना.
Zelsis was second. Some back and forth.
मजा आता है.
But no real push and pull just yet. I feel like G2 has met Sentinels right at the
पूरा mid का control मिलता है. मजा आता है वो खेलने.
Toward pipes at A. So it's almost going to have to be a reset for these signatures. The salvo is the skills.
Ooh. This is the biggest fight right here.
Faked him out with the up and down on the wall. Jonah P gets a beautiful kill on the lurk. But they still have to worry about Bang making his way towards middle. Seems like G2 already has A sorted, and it should not be a problem for the time being.
I mean, you've lost all that space towards the garage. And now you're wasting time too, staying as a group, and Jonah still has a snake bite to work with. So if they're trying to push and engage back towards B main, he could still stall and delay. Walking towards middle, the alarm bot's going to come up, and G2 should be ready for this still.
They just drone towards A. So G2 should know they can all start to rotate out. Yep, finding themselves. The clear here. Oh no, he puts his weapon away! Neri goes for the util. Bang and John Cutie aren't ready. Jonah P grabs 4 as Leaf collects the round. 4-4 on the scoreline now.
And that's what happens when you're wasting too much time on the side of Sentinels. They've lost so much space. You've already lost your drone at the very beginning when you're trying to find info on A site. Now you have to play contact, and you can't even play contact anymore because there's only 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
So you're not clearing your angles. You're still thinking that Jonah P's holding up towards the garage. He goes on at 10, and it's three kills.
Jeez. That's the play, Jonah P. Play safe, play smart. That's what it gets you. My gosh. I think even in the vibes that we're seeing here, when we go from Josh RT to Kaplan, one's just smiling, laughing, and Kaplan's like, we need to do this. G2 Sen needs to shut that down now and find their momentum, find their flow state. Leaf starts off here with the first blood, but Bang answers back, or Bang gets answered rather. Still the fight towards B. Drones, clears. Sentinels need here. They need to stop this economy of G2 and get themselves back in. Is it this star? Yes. What star do you aim at? What star? They're throwing Mosh over towards the spike. No, over towards back, so they get dispersed from hiding on yellow. It almost works. Sentinels is so ready for the trade, though, as they reposition and take down G2.
And that's a huge round for Sentinels. very difficult to enter towards the B site when you've already lost Bang in the very beginning.
Yeah.
There's no wall to block it up, and Nari just says, I'm going to up the tempo. I feel that I have a timing. I'm going to push up in the front, and he gets 2 backstabs. Maybe not the kill on the second one, but already gained all that space to allow for him to just plant things to the wingman. So that was a very nice answer back onto Sentinels after getting dismantled by Jonah P's position.
Yeah.
On the previous round.
Gotta shake it off.
Exactly.
A few early salvos you heard down the other side of the map, which probably means we'll get about a 1-minute hit if they don't find any frags coming over to this side of the site. A little slow down from Jonah P. Playing very close though for the unknown here. Ooh. Oh my gosh, Celsius goes down. The paranoia kind of locking him in, I think, for a second, not realizing what the situation was.
And that's a spike too. Now being picked up, but Zekin cannot really TP away, so it forces Sentinels to push inside
Not
B.
again, not again. Keep the guns out, Narrate. He goes down, 2 bullets left for Jonah P. Again, he still peeks. Held just over the shoulder as Sentinels try to reorganize. How do they get back in? Bang looking for that opening kill.
This is going to be so difficult. They have reckoning right away from Valen. He gets dropped, but there's still 2v4 for G2.
Tried to play the up and down wall.
दोनों खतरनाक प्लेयर है,
John
to be honest.
in a great position here. He's pressed a little bit forward, but they can't really help each other in this situation. It's going to take solo star power.
मार दे निकल के.
Leaf on 1, and the second one's not going to make it. The dance around from Jogamo, so Trent can get the kill on John Cutie, and a defuse comes in for G2 to tie us up again.
Easy निकालो ना 2-3
round. The round though, if they saw that Jogamo had an operator or not, but even that aside, at the very beginning of the round, G2 did a great job just strengthening towards the B side. When they realized here that Sentinels were actually adding a lot of pressure towards this B side, punishing Jonah at the very beginning in round number 10.
Oh, he got team paranoid.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
spam कर लेते बैठा रहे.
And because of that op that they utilized on the A side for Jogamo, they could actually strengthen that B side.
Flash भी और उसका.
Yeah, again, just a little bit of misluck out for Sentinels, but G2 is able to tie this game up, and thankfully, though, it's a different story from the first map. We're going back and forth. It's 5-5. There's still a lot of fight left for both of these teams here. Going into round number 11, a once again, more pressure towards A side. G2 wants to pressure back towards middle, and his early drone allows Leaf to push down and gain that space. And
fancy ला लेते रहे लोग.
Leaf a lockdown. Either way, kill or be killed. He comes into the final round with an ult here. But beautiful insert positioning. Sentinels knows they don't have any of that coverage behind. They'll be forced to work forward, but I feel like they're almost good in, not almost, but they're almost ready for this position and good in the situation. Fire in the Armageddon towards the backside. Well, they know they're going to have sight with Armageddon. G2 won't play in sight for that pain, but they will answer back.
Plant still goes down, though it missed. Towards the front of Jenny.
Haven't seen that plant in a long time. It's easy to post plant, but oh my god, they're not even gonna have the
aim laps कर रहा है उन्हें अपने साथ तो.
With a 1-2-3.
कैसे भाई backstab कैसे आ गया वो?
Gonna give that one to Trent. No, to Jogamo on the defuse as they go around the ring. And yeah, 6-5 here for G2. It just looked like Sentinels was not ready for what they were getting hit with.
I mean, that's just unfortunate too. You had to fight in the front of the site to allow this plant to go down, to set up here for Zelsis to throw his nanostorms down, and Lee finds the perfect timing to go towards that back. And when you throw a reckoning for the retake for Valen, and Leaf is there on that flank.
I don't even have to shoot nobody, I'm just jumping around.
That's what I'm saying.
थोड़े aged players है ना, uncle types, पूरे uncle
as he mentioned before, and he's able to just isolate all of these fights because of that reckoning that was thrown by Valen. It looked easy on the side of Leaf, but there was still a lot of util for G2 to not allow Sentinels to set up here on the
I feel like that works for Jogamo. Last time we talked to him about the Gecko play, since it's one of his most recent, he said, I just gotta use the util, right? Use it, pick it up. Use it so he doesn't have to shoot. He's got
gold
all the time
gold
to use that util and help the team get into situations.
Remember when they had this drone and also the thrash from Narrate? They're utilizing it as a double drone, so already gaining that space in the very beginning towards B, and then Narrate's moving forward. So
what do you hear? Seeing if he can get some footsteps and find the back of any of these members coming through, but look at Leaf. Leaf's still wondering what's going to be coming out of A. The entire team actually not buying this so far, fans.
TP for the A side plant. Zelsis has a huge responsibility to try to get this pick if they're trying to flood back in.
Post plant खेलते ना पूरा.
Job right now. They're not even going to try. They don't know who's actually made it in off timing. So G2 just go for a regular post plant retake. The 5v5 is going to occur here for the last round of our first half. Oh, Jazz hands. Half defuse doesn't get hit. There's going to be some utility coming out here.
Half defusing
with 1, and we stay at half. 2v4. G2 trying to get these members back into the site as they're getting swarmed by Sentinels now, and it's just looking like too much for G2 to overcome. But Jonah P
let's go! Let's go! 6 good shit. Good shit. Good shit.
Even in the first half icebox.
मैं सोचा गया जैसे वो हाफ किया मैं सोचा उसके बाद तो कोई भी स्टिक करेगा स्मोक भी कर रहा था let's go cutie.
And that's a beautiful call coming out from John Cutie that we haven't seen that all throughout the whole half for Sentinels. So for G2 they were thrown for a loop.
पर वो है भी तो easy ना है कि एंगल मारना है
ace under the sleeves from both the teams.
Let's go.
Good job.
Crazy stuff. Awesome to have the even 6-6 as we get into this first half of Split. And we're going to be a little, go to something a little different this time. We're going to be tossing to Liz on stage with Emmy and Googly.
Guys, I think
thank you so much, Van Silly.
Excuse me, being the head coach and the co-founder of Sentinels, I would like to say, guys, Jacan, Celsius, John Cutie, Bang, Naret, guys, be yourself, rush yourself, go, kill, die, go, kill, die, spike, plant, kill, die, diffuse. Okay? How's the Josh? Ice. Let's go. Don't care what people say. I'll take care of them.
I was just sad for them.
Googly, going to you next. This is, you know, obviously this is your first time being in the States with them. You were in Italy, I believe, or last time before you came here. Being in person, experiencing this loss, what was that like?
It was nice to see the players, be able to talk to them, and be able to like work.
भाई ये Josh English जैसा क्यों है?
Like that's the most important thing. Like what is the next step for us?
Now, going to you, Emmy, you are best friends with Zelsis. For those of you who don't know,
Josh English and
Zelsis on stage, currently focused on the game, is best friends with C9 Emmy. What would it mean for you for him to qualify to Masters Toronto as his best friend?
Well, I lose him for a couple of months.
क्या बात करते रहे गेम खेलो ना सीधा मार क्या
he messaged me yesterday saying I was okay. I was like, don't worry about me. Just
बात करते हैं बैठ के
win tomorrow and I'll be there tomorrow.
If he, when he watches this back, what do you want to say to him?
I love him.
Anything you would like to say to anyone on Sentinels?
Good luck.
Simple as that. And what can we expect a Cloud9 Champions visit next year in stage 2?
I think we're definitely capable of it. We just have to figure out this playoff issue and just really grind into why it's happening, and hopefully we can make it out.
Thank you so much. Everyone get it for Emmy and Googly one more time. We have a 6-6 half to get back to you, so friends, please take it away.
Thank you, Liz and Emmy and Googly. I didn't know we had that much space on stage to fit that much
balls packed.
We do indeed. And we're also watching the cinema. G2 and Sentinels here. The power of Valen and John Cutie call these two teams into an even first half on Split, but it is G2 balls packed, guys. So Sentinels, they have no room to let up here.
G2 likes to scale behind a harbor wall on the B side and leverage a flash to control the B. Sentinels still decides to play a solo player towards this B site. All of them being stacked up on the middle for the rest here for Sentinels. And they're expecting some sort of a pump back towards mid. But unfortunately for them, it's a wrong call for now.
Smoke walls.
Secondary wall goes up, and they've really already taken the zone 1 of space here, so no problem. Of course, Valen will go ahead and connect with the narrate to start off on this pistol round, and that's huge. The Gecko util for retake is one of the biggest things you're going to want to have if you're bringing that to Icebox now. It's gone for Sen.
Definitely see their team like 100 Thieves on this map when they had that Gecko for the defuse, or the wingman for the defuse, rather. But this time around, you have to force the body on it.
Swinging in, Valen with 2 on the round, but he goes down, done his job for sure. But Bang, John Cutie, and Zekin are ready. Half defused puts them in a pretty good spot here, but they still have to source out the rest of the members of G2. Very, very close. Oh, they can't get it. Leaf goes in and gives him a hug. The knife kill to come out as well, and it's not going to be enough as the salvos are already ringing true on the spike. Trent, absolutely amazing to get the clutch in the pistol round for G2.
And Jogimo, who's mentioning that, all he does is jump around, jumps inside the smoke for a knife kill, headshot onto Bang. And you keep Trent alive in the post plant. He's alive with the salvos. And that's G2 with the pistol.
Oh my
Knife का बदला चाहिए भाई.
They feel comfortable doing
Knife
that.
का बदला होना.
They know the chaos they have to create. But still, you have Trent, like you mentioned, not in that chaos.
खून का बदला खुद से लिया जाएगा.
I just have to stay alive.
बता रहा हूँ.
And it helps.
खून का बदला चुन के लिया जाएगा.
So many pieces
गए
to the
तुम
puzzle there.
गए.
They're all working very well together for G2. So the sum of the parts come together for Sentinels. Is the question here? Pistol round is going to put the pressure on right away, Vance.
The stack that you have for Sentinels, it's not going to be the best. Maybe the smoke could help them so far. And he won't.
No.
मार दिए रे.
Just cleaning up left and right for this. Because they're actually looking to keep this one flawless probably as they go through the round to make sure it feels that much better.
जाना मेरे सवालों का मंजर तू. मैं सूखा सा.
Outside of that smoke because Zekin was throwing a one-way on top of that to just try to fight under that smoke if G2 were going to try to flood through.
Trent इधर भी मार रहा.
No punishment be done either. It's very clean for the side of the attack. They still have a pretty decent binder bonus when Guardian is on the side of Trent.
कौन जीतेगा guys? मेरे ख्याल से सेंट्रल जीतेगी भाई. सेंट्रल के लिए 7 राउंड बिग डील नहीं है भाई. यूं निकाल देगी यूं अभी.
Already seeing the way the harbor walls are working.
By round है तो easy है.
They just like we put up a wall.
ये chair में change किया guys, बहुत छोटा नहीं है.
They have to realize.
They
have to respect it.
दिमाग खराब change कर रहे हैं.
So Jonas setting up this lineup to throw the smoke right towards middle. So they'll probably try to have him lean more towards the B side to start.
किसी का turret क्या हुआ?
Easily covers towards the A side. So something has to be called by Valorant to just stay as a group. They're just battling against Sentinels who actually have 3 players stacked up on the side.
Bit of a lurk underneath by Zelsis in mid, just keeping an eye where the turret cannot see.
जेल में बैठ के देखा जैसा दिख रहा हो.
So this is on Zekin right now to call for Zelsis.
जेल में बैठ के देखता ना कोई तो ऐसे दिख रहा हो.
Go towards B.
Hello there, बोल के निकला उन्हें.
He's moved himself over into that spot.
Just a simple default round now for G2, inserting players left and right towards jail, trying to see if Sentinels are going to try to push somebody forward. Then you had the fake being sold by Trent just to break that turret.
Easy वैसे bonus ही खेल रहे
लोग. For G2, they have an opening to push that red alert button and move towards that B side for a plant.
Very G2 of them to take down to 30 seconds in the round to make this hit. Dizzy on Dizzy. I think both get shot on that, so they really don't get too much information. But it's Jogmo trying to go high. Bang's ready for 2 as these fires low, then high for that elevation change. And Sentinels eye on the prize here. Hit all their shots.
2v3.
Spikes down on top of it. So hard.
ऐसे कट. अभी काटना.
Clean towards the
तमें तो काट.
Good stop. Coming out from Bang just on the side of 410. And unfortunately there for the side of
Let's go तेरे नाम भाई. राधे भाई, let's go.
इनके सब राधे भाई रे.
सबके चल से.
Those bullets get out of the clip very quickly and couldn't get the double kill. John Cutie trades that onto Bang to allow here Sentinels to stop at least G2's push and potentially win the bonus.
Go.
Sentinels is equal to Radhe bhaiya.
Just kind of base Bang, fragging and playing standard throughout the season, but it has definitely been a playoff buff so far for him in these past few series. Bang is showing up again here on Icebox to help lead the team in frags. This Molly over the top.
बार-बार फेंक रहा, नहीं लग रहा है. नहीं लगेगा वो.
And they tried to triple swing that at first. If somebody was speaking, you could punish it and then get the nanoswarm out. But now, realizing that somebody has anchored up towards Boiler, that they're probably playing like a 2-2 style, so they have to stay as a group for G2.
Smoker.
Tries to get in early. Oh, he gets the
एक बंदे के लिए.
G2, so many good reads on these plays that would completely stop what your opponent is doing. Reckoning's going to start dislodging the site just a little bit. We've already had one frag go down as Jogamo makes it 2, 1 for each side now as Thrash is ready to pounce. Oh, it went too far, but he's going to be saved by Val, and the teamwork is huge for G2.
Let's go!
But Sentinels start to come back in, the 1v1 power that they can show, this prowess to get back in and make sure the clutch is theirs.
Val and Saddles are down for now and just came back up. So Leaf is the one that has to stay alive here.
Let's go.
Tap just misses. Bang gives it another sidestep. Almost a 1-2 for Trent.
It's not half.
He's been so good in these situations, Vansili. He's been so good in these situations, Vansili. Can he do it again? Half didn't even get hit. And he pulled it again!
Unstoppable is Trent!
गुस्सा दोस्ते ना दोनों होल्ड करने से अच्छा तो
jiggling, isolating these fights, getting the salvo, stopping the women on top of that, not allowing Sentinels to get the 6-man for the fuse. And Trent pops off one more time.
Absolutely nutty performance from Trent. And put in this situation a bunch of times, it's not just the one post plant. It's post plant after post plant that he is successful in. Doesn't even break a sweat while doing it. 9 now for G2 here as they steal it back from a
ये वन वे स्मोक परसों सीखा था आज ही ने सीख लिया वाह वाह लेकिन भाई कॉपीराइट मारते हुए
could get this kill onto the defense on the left side of the A site. Right now, it seems that G2 wants to pivot a lot towards this B site, and that's spiked down though with this kill from second.
Again, spikes up top, so now they can easily keep a focus on somebody having to get towards belt.
इस सेकंड में को ड्यूलिश दो रही नहीं होगा रे वो जैसे
spike getting picked up isn't worth losing another member here, so they reset.
कद्दू सा है रे वो नहीं होगा उससे बेचारे से.
Enjoy knowing where the spike is. Have this good push into the pit.
वो ऑलराउंडर गिल राउंडर की मत करो उससे. बांग बांग ये दिन आए बांग बांग मेरा दिल गाए बांग बांग.
G2 is in the 3rd or 4th page of the scrap book for this one. They've got to pull out everything with what
angle छोड़ते क्यों हैं भाई लोग.
gave up the A site after Jonah P died.
It's
they were just playing inserts. The idea was just to get Jonah P up and try to break the turret so they could rework the map. But Sentinels gave up the A site, allowing G2 to turn it back in their favor.
John Cutie, pretty full on util here, doesn't have the drone so they can get back in with a bit of the concuss, but Valen just on the other side of the cat and mouse, and Zelsis finds one. Bit of util, yeah. Leaf is
वाइपर का वेट तो वैसे भी करने वाले ही है वो लोग.
Still has a molly to put on the spike as well.
And with this lockdown, Trent is just waiting so he can try to fall back.
10 सेकंड तो वो कर लिया वो टाइम बाय.
So he can use the salvos.
बच्चे से 2 सेकंड में घुसते जाना है लोग. 20 सेकंड.
They're actually trying to play this one a little different, Vansili. They want to play a different high-low. Oh, the separation and the angles, though, could make this so tough. That's one. It gets traded, but it's behind Trent now.
Let's go.
No, John Cutie. Sentinel lights.
Let's go.
Calling and hitting the shots to bring back a very needed round.
पानी पियो सब करो पर जीतो भाई. क्या हुआ? क्या हुआ? नीचे बैठ के रहना समझ में आ रहा. जब भी बोल तो तब उठता हूँ, जब बोलो तब उठाना बैठना में आ रहा. पट्टे मार साथ नक्को मसले समझ में आ रहा. नीचे सिस्टम के नीचे इधर अपन रहना है तो अपना ही कहना है.
Okay.
They don't have the best in terms of economy for G2.
मैच 5:30 को स्टार्ट हो रहा है. इतनी जल्दी स्टार्ट कैसे हो गया? 2-0 का स्किल है.
I think that was the longest round so far from G2, right? They may have had like a 30-second round we saw going previously, but that 30 seconds in that round, that was the Valen pushing into mid. They were still trying to decide to take A. So this may be a call from Josh to say, yeah, we have that kind of strategy, but it's working less against Sentinels than it would against other teams. So maybe back to the speed, maybe back to a little bit more pressure from the G2 side.
Yeah, for sure. And when you were adding that pressure for G2, when they tried to work very quickly towards the A side, what really seemed to stop them was just that singular smoke from Zekin. The one way that's being thrown that side, because yeah, even if you push Zekin away with the salvos and you're trying to push back through the orb, you're running through a one way and they spot your feet first. So that's why you're seeing so much pressure on the left side. a double setup on the A side over here from Sentinels behind that smoke. That G2 really hasn't used util towards that side yet. So maybe you want to save those salvos for those hits. You want to try to drone a little bit later, or maybe use the Armageddon in the next round to really clear out that site and force Sentinels to play a retake again, and where G2 has been shining so far.
9-9, 9-10, 9-13, easy.
A little bit of A. Yeah, A noise to make Sentinels think that there's going to be more coming, but it's the 3-2 split mid.
इसमें यही मजा आएगा इको में.
Quick check, early util.
G2 is,
they're definitely worried that Sen will push up more, but they want to take the space. That was close.
Cover going out.
नहीं, damage तो नहीं गिरा.
When you talked about a 3-2, the cascade went up on the side. You're seeing that Sentinels are playing very slowly, trying to clear every single angle, and you're basically pulling a little bit at rotate at the very beginning just to try to move as a team towards this B site. But that window's now closed. All of Sentinels has rotated towards this B site, and G2 will potentially have a very hard time trying to plant here towards this B site.
That smoke thrown out from Zekin is denying a bit. Wingman's still able to make it happen. Zelsis.
Hey, easy retake it.
Somehow dodges all of that. It's just short enough.
Easy retake it.
Ooh, the pressure defuse. Defuse Dizzy up. Who's going to try to peek it? But that was a really nice concuss coming in from the side of Trent to try and delay all
Zekin में एक मार लो यार. एक मार लो.
Can't get one to connect. Okay.
ऐसे घुसना.
Funny games, enough funny business. Let's get in here.
शिवदर्शनी मिले yourself जैसा घुसाना.
The low buy of G2, a little too much respect there.
Yeah.
The Sentinels finally decide to just take the round over.
And now this timeout is where it's going to be important for Josh RT, not only identifying how they can maybe work towards this A site potentially through the smoke from Zekin, but also understanding the state of the game that Sentinels currently have in this 9-9 scoreline.
Yeah.
Because you have 4 ults now activated on the defensive side. This is a huge swing round potential for Sentinels to potentially even run away in this second map and push this onto Ascent.
Nah.
Sentinels that's
Let's go.
Stomped on the first map of Split on their map pick. But seems to have figured out here G2's attack plan with no duelists on their son on the attack. And Sentinels with no duelists on the defense. But they're just letting G2 run into them and winning these fights.
Thought he might have seen one, but Narrate does not catch the foot there of Leaf heading into the nest. Decent push up for a moment by Zekin as he tries to recover a bit. Celsius underneath 2 with an outlaw on the full gun round back and forth.
Screams
through with a headshot on the round.
With Leaf not being able to capitalize on that frag on the A site, G2 has to tempo up here and maybe try to break a bit of util towards B.
Second self peek here. This is going to be a play for him.
दे पट्टे उठा दे.
Trying to play some timing.
चीज़ उठा दे. खींच दे.
Hits one. Armageddon comes through and he tries to play within the fight. Zelsis picks up another one across the map as well here. Choggin was taking damage from this quite a bit. And now it's just trying to run the spike back. See if they can get to Leaf and if Leaf can hold sight solo.
Bang was waiting at that spot. I don't think they heard the jump. So Leaf could actually bring a surprise.
Yeah, and they'll have wingman plant, so 2 watching the angles if they need it. Whoa.
चलो लो गए. दोनों लो हैं. जागे वो भी यार लो हैं.
Players now for G2 in the pulse line are lower on HP.
That's an inside the sight plant really. You can play a little bit far back on that, but it's got to be towards mains. You can't play up top, and I think just missed. Doesn't matter though. Celsius with the outlaw finds a 3rd one here. Return on investment maybe. Can send
Leaf को पत्ता बना के मारे.
Around again to make sure they can get to 10.
I don't know if there was a mismanagement from the side of G2 not looking at what ults were available, but that alarm bot with the Armageddon combination of both Zelsis and John Cutie made it very difficult for G2 to really fight back towards this B site control.
Just solo holding B2 as Zekin needed to rotate out.
So I had to rechange it, but I put a 0 at the start of it. So I was just aiming like this with the outlaw.
He did 0.0.
It's still got a kill with it.
Yeah.
So all you had to do was crosshair placement, allowed to get the pick onto Valen. But that said, on a 2 versus 4 and you force up the Thrash, that's at least something there for G2 that could even up the tally and back into the classic of the G2 Stinger buy. grouping together this time around, and you can
Sound
already
देके
see
वापस
the
आ गया.
Sentinels are not used at the very
अब
beginning
बोलना
on the
थोड़ी देर
top
तो वही
of
time
lights.
waste
They're
करते.
using it here. They're trying to clear on the execution. There's the salvos on the left side, and Trent gets the opener.
Stingers flying through. I feel like it gives you a speed upgrade here. They've laced up. They're running it down. And it is going to be bang. Oh my God. 180 to 360, 720. Tony Hawk.
Let's go!
Takes down Leaf there. I don't even know how Bang was seeing people. Jeez. Yeah,
Let's go.
He's getting a little bit of a playoff buff here, and he's using it accordingly.
Agreed. Going into the regular season, doing pretty decent, but not having too many of those highlight reels. Though we know that Bang did back in the last season with 100 Ds. But in the playoffs, remember, he aced going into that Pearl game against
Tracking
Cloud9,
के
huge numbers.
Phantom बहुत सही चलाता है भाग.
And now this time around, it's just activated.
राधे भैया.
What better way and what better
अभी लोग
position
time out तो लेते होंगे मेरे ख्याल से.
for Sentinels, because they're now in the lead by 2. G2 on that Stinger buy still has 2 ults now and weapons to work with, and still trying to go back to work towards this A site. There's 4 players.
Now they will take time out.
They are not allowing Pipes control. It takes a lot to be able to guard this, right? You are dedicating most of your team if you want to defend.
110% next ये round हारे तो time out है.
Oh yeah, saw an elbow there. Trent pushing forward. They don't know where G2 can come from them. How much scaling G2 has already done, and Leaf answers back.
चलो 2v3.
For this round, G2 feeling pretty good about the positioning, but
ये लोग
still pretty
अच्छी जागे move.
Only one person unaccounted for, and that was Leaf, and he's able to open up everything for G2 to trade back and get the player advantage.
Ooh, quick thrash so he can pick it back up. Defuse, or plant Dizzy.
Let's go.
Spike actually
Close.
Able to keep eyes on that last frag. No plant money is fine though. They should be okay getting to this next one.
उसको लग जाता था ना last को.
To get that plant money on the squad.
System पार देगा.
Still enough to buy. Seeing the low armor come through.
ये लोग के पास भाई नहीं है.
2-1
Alt 3 ulti रहे.
That had to happen before the post plant. I mean, look at what Sentinel's been doing.
3 ulti. Same ult से तीनों पे.
They've been owning it once G2 takes the site. So G2 said, we'll do a little bit before and in between.
और एक इसको लगना था बस 48 था फिर भी.
From Sentinels, because again the position was perfect. They read it perfectly on that push coming out from G2. But because they had one player less, when they went for the high-low swing on the left side, it was perfect for those trades.
एक हुडी भी
But
पहनता ना
snuck
फिर.
through towards that left side of the A tower and got that trade off against John Cutie to allow G2 to close that gap. But you mentioned it, the economy is not the best on the side of G2, but Sentinels definitely want to hold the time out to slow things down for a bit, because you need to instill that to your players.
Sentinels time out लिए.
Those small spots. It would have been a different story here if they took care and knew the positioning from Leaf up towards the left side. But I think it was
कुछ भी नहीं है, तुम ला पीछे टर्न लाके मार देते हो बल्कि बोल रहा है.
that was able to swing out to get the first blood.
Man. 11-10 here. G2 takes Sentinels map of split, and Sentinels 2 away from taking
China P,
LeBron. G2's pick. We're about to get back in off of this timeout. Kaplan not really liking that G2 and squad stop that 4-round streak as they look to get this map and bring us all the way to Ascent.
John Key.
3 ults per team here.
Jonah. अरे ये लोग का वो मैच भी तो था ना एक फाइनल्स था शायद G2 वर्सेस हार गई थी रे ऊपर चढ़ा मारना ऊपर चढ़ने वाले को
and Zekken has had Zeus's utility at B all these rounds. They've now moved that over to A with them for the full fight. So we'll see if Zekken still kind of plays that aggressive or wants to get out now that he hears some noise.
Yeah, I mean, he could stay back towards yellow. They have a Larbot to watch, a very passive turret all the way in the back of spawn to look into the walk up towards tube. So all of Sentinels, once again, a great read to stack 4 players towards this A site. But Reckoning is definitely going to force them to scan around.
Yeah, they're playing pretty far up for lockdown and Reckoning here. One will start to push them back. Just on the left side of that mosh, not going to be enough. see if they can get themselves in here. Yeah, there's the reckoning. It's actually going to chase Sentinels all the way out, back down the stairs, into their spawn. And those circles can be seen here by G2 as they move in. You can see the focus right up towards screens and up towards that catwalk.
Interesting plan all the way in the back corner. I don't know if there was a misclick, but
I mean, this is good util. You can easily throw some things in here like Jonah Peas. Oh no, Viper's his actually just went down. Wait, they're fighting in this right now. Viper's pit there.
Zelsis is defusing.
It's going to be at 75%, goes down. That's going to be at half now. Shots coming in from Narrate. He's up top trying to play the jungle gym. Can he swing down? Oh my god, the cove. It's the only thing that separates
Let's
them
go.
as they stand shoulder to shoulder.
अच्छा
And that's going to be the half defuse. They get over to Narrate for this as Zekin was prepping it up. And
Let's go.
again
G, G,
so
G, G,
strong
G,
on the
G.
post-plant retake here on Icebox.
Yeah.
GG कर दो guys.
I don't know if it was intentional or not to have
GG
that plant in
कर दो.
that corner because it's very, very unorthodox to get it out there. But maybe the reckoning and everything that allowed here the wingman to plant towards the corner allows for you to spam a little bit more easily.
ये वेले क्या वेले भाई
towards nest to swing out towards pipes and Sentinels again regrouping.
भाई ज़ेकन बेचारा 9 किल पे बे प्लीज उसको ड्यूलिश दो यार सेंटिनल्स आज एक को-फाउंडर मैं बोल रहा हूँ सेंटिनल्स प्लीज गिव ज़ेकन a duelist bro please brother 9 kill bro
Back in the action though.
Yeah, okay, there we go. He shot Valen that time. John Cutie on point here.
let's do GG
They've moved
GG
utility back for Sentinels.
Asken देखेंगे
They don't think that A push is coming anymore from G2, and it seems like they've got a pretty good read on it here. And G2 now without Valen only have to use Jonah P's walls to get themselves in.
So low on HP is Jonah P.
Yeah.
You need Trent to stay alive here. That's probably the silver lining to keep G2 back in the game. If it's not going to be for the post plant, at least to open up the site.
5 HP है भाई ये easy game है
G2 are playing contact. Bane playing very passively because all
ये
of
पीछे
them
से क्या
were
rush
leading towards
पाल्टे
middle with a triple swing in the very beginning. That's a big kill.
G2 on these silent rounds, you got to give them credit.
मत
They
risk
get
लेना
into
सर
some
पे अल्टे
real crazy spots.
आराम से
Zelsis had
easy
so much value on flanks in the past, and he's fighting against Trent. That's the silver line. That's what's needed for G2 to stay alive and to win this round.
Zelsis 1v1s have been spectacular here, but it's two.
Let's go!
Come up big. There's the first one. Trent's gonna turn.
Let's go!
Second. Now the third, and it's not enough. Trent with the stinger. Close range is just too much, but it's the post-plant king here. Tejo, Trent, ready to lock this round down. Armageddon's already passed. One shot comes through. It can't be traded back by Zekin. But it is Zekin versus Trent. He delays more time now, just trying to put the pressure on to Zekin. Is it possible? Firing to the left, doesn't know he's to the right. Zekin looks like he's got the defuse. Trent's gonna hit the shot!
इतना टाइम कहाँ से आया इतना जल्दी कैसे होगा ये
Trent is insane again in these clutches. And a selfish plays coming out from G2. Jonah P low on HP saying, let me swing into this one. Let me give my life away. The second player to come across, I think it was Leaf, also to fall down. Just so that Trent could bait that kill. The trust that G2 has for Trent in these moments.
It's crazy. Honestly, it's like it's going to be a strategy for teams to find Trent in these just engages and kill him so they know the post plant can't be a possibility. There's nothing you can do against this guy if he is alive. And that spike is planted. Another timeout here for Sentinels.
The last one of this map before we could potentially go into overtime, or Sentinels pushes this to the third map of Ascent.
अरे वो जेल्सिस पीछे से आके मस्त मार दिया था रे दो को अब इन लोगों के पास बाई भी है खत्म करने का था सीन रे ट्रेंट बचा लिया वरना तो घोड़े थे घोड़े
Going back into this timeout, yes, such a low buy coming in for Leaf. He's small shields Guardian. Joggermill's also with the Guardian. And Jonah P's at 3,500. And we'll have to go for a small shields and rifle.
I mean, honestly, G2's been kind of limping through these rounds with the buys. So for them to even get a few has been spectacular, but still got to recognize this run on the second half from Sentinel spectacular as well.
खत्म कर रहे सेकंड हाफ कितना अच्छा गया रे 4-5 राउंड निकाले
This round here may
6 sorry 6 एक निकालना है बस
pretty decent for them earlier on. Getting stopped right away here by Salmos.
ये जो पोस्ट प्लान में खेलने में बहुत डेंजरस है रे। उसका अपन क्या करने का रहता, बैठ जाओ पोके में बैठ के कर लेते बैगन, मुठ्ठियाँ मार ले, एक कोने जाके मुठ्ठियाँ मार लेके वो डाल देते हो जाता।
G2 have gone back to that regular, or sorry, Sen have gone back to that regular defensive setup. Oh, that's a head being seen.
Damage da.
Good damage onto Valen. I wonder if that Dizzy is actually retrievable.
Because of that pressure coming out from Sentinels, Valen actually had to throw the Cove down just to try to stay alive. So they won't really have it to allow the wingman to get the safest.
Balls back, they're rotating, guys. Coming back to you.
Though. But again, we just saw that Dizzy get used at sight. This is going to be pretty much a dry retake, and Jonah P has to be the spearhead. Sees one, so the jig is already up on this fast rotation. You see Spawn, Sentinel's defense is already starting to lean.
I will have a time to hai nahi.
Oh, Zekin takes the spike out. That's not going to be the ult point Jogamo wanted for the thrash.
Let's go!
Deny it, and he's not going to be able to use it.
Let's go!
Huge kill, Zekin and Celsius. The two Z's coming up big to stop that site take, and now the lurk in from Valen. It seems like they have an idea of where.
Let's go! Let's go!
Another one from Zekin before he falls, and it looks all too good here for Sentinels. The shot from John Cutie is the one that sends us to a map 3. We're going to Ascent.
Lucky Chami कह दे. Lucky Cham मैं आया बोल के जीत गए.
And the TP's out towards that last round number 24, to allow Sentinels to just
Guys,
rotate well.
कुछ भी सोच रहे. मेरे से ना हो पाए भाई. मेरे को आ रही नींद. मेरी नींद में कोई बसने हुई. मेरे को वहाँ अपने आप झप्पू झप बंद कर आ रहे हैं. मैं तब भी बैठा हुआ था. एक मैच ख़त्म करके जाएंगे वॉच पार्टी का बोल के. मानो तो ना आया 1 घंटे के लिए जा रहा है फिर से वापस. नहीं हो रहा रही. होता तो बैठ जाता मैं. मेरे को नहीं हो रहा माइगन की. मेरी दिमाग ख़राब हो जा रहा उल्टा. चाहे तो थोड़ी देर बाद तो प्लीज़ नेक्स्ट टाइम जब भी होगा मैं कसम से नहीं सोने वाला भाई. सोऊंगा ही नहीं. मैं सो के उठता और दिमाग ख़राब मेरा. सो के उठे तो नहीं, सो के बैठा तो कुछ अलग रहता, पर सो के उठे तो और दिमाग ख़राब आता मेरा. चलो मज़ा आते रहे भाई. ठीक है, टेक केयर गाइस. मैच 3 क्या होता मैं नहीं मालूम. मैच 3 में सो के उठने देख तो क्या मसला हो गया बोल के. मैक्स टू मैक्स तो ये सेंटलेस जीत जाती जब तक जेक्केन. अरे जेक्केन को ड्यूलिस्ट दो रे. जेक्केन ड्यूलिस्ट रिक्वायर्ड ब्रो ना. जेक्केन इज ड्यूलिस्ट बेस्ट ड्यूलिस्ट ब्रो. जेक्केन को जेट दो, रेस दो. ओमन सूट नहीं होता इसको. कितना 10 किल करा होगा, 10-12 मैक्स टू मैक्स. सो वो देखना पड़ेगा. चलो गाइस, दैट्स इट फॉर टुडे. शाम को स्ट्रीम करा तो कर दे, तो फिर कर तो मैं तब मज़े करेंगे. ठीक है, लव यू, बाय बॉल्स.